What's up guys, Tech and Tyler, and today I'm going to show you a fixture that is quite rare and hard to find, and they're very sought after in the lighting community, and that fixture is the iconic MS-104 light. And this one in particular is made by American Fluorescent Corporation. Now there are a bunch of companies out there who have made different versions of this fixture, and I have another one that's made by Simcar, and I'll make a video on that one eventually too, but this one I've had now for quite a few years. Forget how long I've had it now. But when I bought it and got it, I knew it was going to be like this, so I was purposely going to convert it. But this used to be electronic, so I converted it to preheat, as you can tell by the starter socket here. And I am eventually going to go back and fix the way how I did this, because I'm not too pleased with how I did it. This was a long time ago, but this hole here for the starter socket was never here. I had cut this hole out, and I had kind of dremeled the edges here to fit these screws, which it does work perfectly fine, but to take out the starter, it's a little snug and it kind of overlaps the hole a little bit, so I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'm probably going to go back and fix it up a little bit, make it just a smidge better. I'll probably end up taking the two screws out of the starter socket and putting in a different socket, like one of those spring-loaded ones, where it just has like the two metal tabs on the edge that will grab the metal here. It might work a little bit better in the fixture, so I might eventually do that, depending on if it will reach the holes I've drilled out here or dremeled out. So I'll see eventually, but I got some ideas to fix it up a little bit more than how I had it. But yeah, so I cut the hole out for the starter socket and put in a Robertson ballast that can do 4, 6, and 8 watt, which these fixtures are so cramped and compact because they're so small that the ballast literally is being held by this screw and this screw here. Like, it's a perfect fit in between the screws for the sockets here, which is pretty cool that it does that. It works that way instead of putting it on the bottom of it, so that way when you open it, all the components are up here. They're not actually like on the bottom, which, I mean, you could put it there with the two holes, but I kind of like it more off to the side here, which gives it some space. And I also want to eventually put a switch on here, because they give you a knockout hole here and a knockout hole here. They don't give you any knockout holes here, just these two holes that had the original electronic ballast that was in it. So I put these little rubber feet on there, how I put the little rubber feet on the bottom here in case I ever put it in a spot and I kind of wanted to have a little space off of the wall. And I kind of did it just to cover up the holes, but I might eventually just put some bolts and nuts in it just to close them off. But let me get a screwdriver and we will open this up and we'll see what's on the inside of it. Okay, now with the screws out, we can take off this top half here. And as you can see, it's very cramped in here. Hardly any room inside of this thing. But if I pull back some of these wires here and flip this over, you may be able to see right there Robertson Transformer Co. 4, 6, or 8 watt. And I will say, and I know a lot of people have said this too if they've made videos about these, but a lot of people aren't a huge fan of these particular ballasts. Some people call them like finger ballasts because of how thin they are. I'm not too sure the exact like name to call these ballasts, but a lot of people don't like them because apparently they drive the 4 watt bulbs really hard, instead of producing like a normal 4 watt 4 watts of power to them. They kind of push them at like 6 or 8 or somewhere in there, maybe even 10. So the bulbs do get kind of warm, and so does the ballast. But I mean, it's not a bother to me just because I have a bunch of them and I'm going to use them. I know there's other types of ballast that you can put in here, but I'm just going to keep the one that's in it and just use it. It's not too big of a big deal to me because I don't really use this fixture all that much, but eventually I will. But yeah, so we got the Robertson 4 watt ballast here. We got our socket over here, and we got another socket right down in here under all this mess. And then we have our starter socket right here that I put in. So yeah, it's not a whole lot in the fixture. It's just a really cramped little area to have all this stuff in. And like I said, I want to put a switch on here, so I might end up drilling a hole over here or on the other side, one of the two, under the starter socket, depending on if I change this one out to one of the prong ones like I was saying. But I'll figure it out at some point. But just a little quick look inside of here. Very cramped, very compact in there. Not a whole lot of room. So let me go ahead and get this all put back together, and then we will test this out and I will show you it working. Alrighty, now with the fixture all back together, the starter that's inside of it that I'm going to put back on it is a General Electric FS5 468 watt starter. And so I have a bunch of these mini like the lower wattage starters, like these ones for the 4, 6, and 8 watts, because the parts that I actually used inside of here came out of a retrofit kit for an exit sign. I have a bunch of these 4 watt retrofit kits that I had gotten a long time ago, and they have all the Robertson ballast on them, and they have a whole bunch of these GE starters on them. And these ones in particular weren't for exactly the 4 watt ones. These were 6 watt fixtures, but they're multi-wattage ballasts, so I can use them in anything that's 4 to 6, 8 watt. So I have a bunch of those, so I took a bunch of parts off of 2 of them and used some of them to convert this one, and then I actually have an exit sign that I had put parts from one of the other ones in to make that one fluorescent as well, which I'll make a video on at another time. I have a few exit signs that I want to convert to fluorescent and use some of these kits in, so I'll eventually get to doing that and make a video and kind of show you how to do it as well. But yeah, so we got the starter installed, and now the bulb that we're going to be using is a Sylvania Cool White bulb. That's a F4T5 bulb that's made in Mexico. So this one's not an super old bulb. It's older, but it's not, you know, super old, being made in Mexico. So got that installed. So let me go ahead and plug it in, and we'll see it working. And there we go. Super, you know, cool little light fixture. I love these little lights. I think they're super unique. They work great. Yeah, just overall, just very neat little fixtures. I mean, they're not super bright. They put off just a nice kind of like accent light. I'm a huge fan of them. I wish I can get more of these, but unfortunately I only have 2 of these. And I hope to find more. I have a couple other ones actually sitting right over here to the left of the camera that I had gotten a couple months ago, I believe, and I thought they were a different type of light that I was looking for, but they actually weren't. They're a different kind of fixture than what I was anticipating on getting, but that's cool because these are rare as well too, and they're pretty old as well, and they're pretty neat. I've never seen ones like these, so I'll make videos on those too, and on the SimCar one that I have, and a couple other fixtures I got that are these smaller wattage fixtures. Because these light fixtures were used in different varieties of things. I think they were used in like display cabinets and like under cabinet lighting for like cases in stores and stuff back then, or to light up like mini signs and stuff like that. Not too sure, but I know they had them in a bunch of stuff back then to use for different types of operations. And but yeah, they're just super cool, super hard to find. I was super glad that I managed to get this one, even though it was electronic. I was excited to get this one and convert it to fluorescent, and yeah, I've had it now for years, and every time I've used it, it's worked great testing stuff or just whatever. But yeah, like I said, the only downside to these is they do kind of run the bulbs a little hard, because as I'm looking at this bulb warming up here, you can see this spot right here is a little brighter versus some of this. I don't know if you're able to see it on camera, but this end is a little darker than this end. This one's kind of bright, and there's some darkening in the bulb, but it's also warming up the bulb because I haven't used this in so long too. But yeah, it kind of overpowers them just a little bit, but it's alright. It's not a huge deal because I don't use it all the time. Eventually, when I start using this a bit more, I might look into possibly getting, you know, a better ballast. But like I said, I don't really plan on changing the ballast out of it because I have a bunch of these, and I also have a bunch of these bulbs, so if they burn out quicker, it's okay. The only bulbs that I don't necessarily like to use are the actual old bulbs. These newer ones I don't really care too much about. But yeah, you can kind of see on the camera here, it's a little brighter in this section here versus kind of over here, but it's slowly starting to work its way and kind of clear itself up. But yeah, let me unplug it here and we'll plug it back in and watch it preheat itself. Nice blink happy little fixture here. Some bulbs and some starters are a little bit more blinky than others, but yeah, just wanted to make a quick little video on this super cool American Fluorescent MS-104. So until next time, thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and look out for any other videos I make. Again, until next time, thank you.